evening. Welcome to the June 11th Valley View School Board meeting. Mr. Maduris, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I would ask all to rise and to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's see. Affirmation. Who's got the board affirmation statement up? Ms. Campbell.
To turn it on. Our mission is to empower all learners to be college and career ready and to develop, grow, and achieve as productive citizens.
Moving down the agenda. Dr. Mitchum, agenda?
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to ask that the board approve the agenda as presented.
Motion?
So moved.
Motion seconded. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Treasurer's report. Mr. Gazafi, if you would please.
Yes, Treasurer's Action Report 5.1 is the monthly report for May 2018, including your financial reports, balance sheets, summary of revenue and expenditures, as well as the interim obligation payments and the debt service payments, totaling for the month of May $5,632,856.08 for your action this evening.
So moved.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Member Baduris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Next, Gary.
Schedule of bills for June 2018 represents 5 funds: the Education Fund, Operations and Maintenance Fund, Transportation, Tort, and Food Service. Total bills payable for the month, $2,188,828.91. Recommendation is for
Motion?
approval.
Second.
Motion seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Baduris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Gary?
Also have the summary of investments for May, property taxes received, the state funding update, as well as the all schools trust account activity for your information only. If you've got any questions, be happy to answer them at this time.
Any questions? I'm having trouble with my computer getting it up, but where are we at with state funding? We're all caught up, correct?
We're behind, I think, 60 days, which is probably the best we've been at this time of year that we've been in 5 years.
Thank you. Dr. Mitchum, consent agenda items.
Yes, Mr. Quigley, I'd like to ask that the board approve consent agenda items 6.1 through 6.8 as presented. 6.1 board meeting minutes for 5/29/18. 6.2 executive session meeting minutes for 5/29/18. 6.3 authorization to prepare a tentative budget for FY 18-19. 6.4 resolution number 1812 prevailing wage ordinance. 6.5 renewal of treasurer's bonds and working cash bond. 6.6 resolution number 1813 providing for transfer of funds from the Education Fund and the Operations and Maintenance Fund to the Debt Service Fund for principal and interest obligations. 6.7 before and after school program intergovernmental agreement with Bolingbrook Park District, and 6.8 gifts for Hubert H. Humphrey Middle School.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I did have a question. I think, Rachel, that you might have answered this and I didn't see the email. Are we informing the Woodview parents that this is going to be the switch and the information that you gave us will be given to them before school starts?
I'm sorry, regarding the switch with what? The before and after?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Okay, thank you.
And I see Principal McCaslin in the audience, and she is confirming that.
Any other questions? Motion to approve would be in order. What? Consent agenda? Huh? We have a motion? Oh, I'm sorry, that's right. Kind of on my B game. We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, roll call vote would be in order.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Baduris?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Student staff, staff recognition, first on the agenda. I'm working without Annette here, so Rob Rose from Bolingbrook High School.
Members of the community, Dr. Mitchum, senior leadership, President Quigley, members of the board, it's my honor. My name is Rob Rose, Assistant Principal for Athletics and Activities at Bolingbrook High School. It's my honor to introduce our head mathletes coach, Ms. Karen Rose, who will introduce our state qualifier freshman, Josh. Josh, I don't want to hammer your name. Say it. Ruby Alec. Josh Ruby Alec. He's a freshman. I told him right before he came up here, the pressure's on for him to continue on for the next 3 years. So Karen has done a phenomenal job with Mathletes since taking over. We had nearly 45 students. I would expect that would continue, and hopefully next year we have some more state qualifiers to go with Josh. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Ms. Karen Rose.
Okay, now that he said everything I was going to say. Good evening, members of the board, senior leadership, Dr. Mitchum, the community, and the staff. First, I am very excited. This is my first year as head coach, and I have an awesome assistant coach, Mrs. Theo, which some of you guys might know is a great assistant. We have, like Bob said, an increase in numbers this year, and we're very excited about it. In mid-February, I had about 5 girls that asked if they wanted to be in Mathletes this year, and it was too late, so I'm excited that they're freshmen and they're going to be able to come next year. We took second in our conference, which earned us the Traveling Trophy Award, which we're excited about. Our freshman team also won second in regionals and first at the JJC Invitational, so our freshman algebra team. So we're excited for our freshmen, and hopefully in the next 4 years we'll have more kids making states. Right now I would like to introduce you to Josh Bibialek. Josh, before he even made it to state, the math teachers gave him the award of the best math student of the month. So before he even made it to state. He competed because we're down in numbers for our sophomores. He told me that he would compete in the sophomore level, which we're very thrilled about. He was second in regionals, and only 32 out of 182 students did better than he did in state. So we're excited about that. And that's about it. So thank you, Josh.
Nice job, bud. Next up, ISHA state qualifiers for tennis. Yes, no, maybe so, they're not here. Girls track and field qualifiers, not here. Boys state track qualifiers, Mrs. Strode, come on down.
Good evening, Mr. Quigley, members of the board, Dr. Mitchum, senior administration, members of the community. It is going to be my honor to call to the podium longtime track coach, Mr. Scott Harper, to speak not only to you about some of our state qualifiers, but also about our sectional winning boys straight track team. So without further ado, Coach Harper.
Good evening, members of the community and the school board. My name is Scott Harper. I've been coaching for 26 years at Romeoville High School. This year we had a successful season where we finished first in 2 invitationals, one at the Frost-Soft level, one at the varsity level. And then we came to our sectional where we ended up defeating a very strong Lockport team by 1 point to earn our second sectional championship in 19 years. We had several state qualifiers. Many of them who couldn't make it tonight, but one young man who did. He qualified in 2 events, the shot put and the discus. He's close to attaining school records, the school record in a shot put. He competed against one of the best throwers in the country in our sectional, and he did a real good job. And looking forward to having him as a senior on our team next year being a leader. He threw 55-10 in the shot put and 154 feet 7 inches in the discus for his best throws of the year. And his name is Amiri Buchanan.
None? Not here tonight? Thank you. Board liaison reports. From my right. From my left.
We had a behavior support plan committee meeting again last June 6th for 3 hours. They're developing a rubric and a flow chart for students that have a need for behavior support plan, not only to figure out what step we take next, but also to see if that plan is working for those students. So they're working very hard on getting this done for those students who are not have IEPs but need a behavior support plan.
I have a legislative update. So, as you guys know, for 3.5 years, the state of Illinois went without a budget. They cobbled together court-mandated acts going back to the 2014 budget, which was the last fully implemented budget. Thankfully, last year, the General Assembly finally passed a budget, although it did include an income tax increase. From that result, this year's budget includes a $350 million increase for education. Gary could probably tell you better than I what that impact is to us, if at all, but I think we're going to see a little bit additional funding, and it's depending on what categories. I think, Gary, is that there's some categorical things in there. Maybe for another meeting we can discuss that, but the state of Illinois did pass a budget. As we mentioned earlier, we are caught up on our bills for the first time in many, many years, which is a very comforting thing for Mr. Gazafi and the rest of us as well. So that being said, there will be no extended session in the General Assembly, which makes me very happy. You know, hopefully the General Assembly will finish up their business in November after the elections, and they'll be on to the 101st General Assembly session starting in 2019. So that is it. And for those folks who are in the business in Springfield, campaign season will probably start in earnest in late August, early September. So that is that. Any audience participation? Anybody in the audience wishes to address the board this evening? Seeing none, hearing none, moving down the agenda. Student due process, case A. Dr. Mitchum?
Yes, Mr. Quigley, I'd ask that the board approve student due process case A as presented.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Board policy. Mr. Kinder.
Yes, sir. We're presenting for second read and approval this evening one board policy, that is policy 6135, accelerated program placement. This was presented at the last board meeting for first read.
Amen. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion?
I do have, just to clarify, I was reading over the minutes from last week when I asked a question, and I just want to clarify. When students would be accelerated, their testing, we talked about whether they would test with their class, like their grade, or whether they would test, let's say, if you're accelerated as a student and you move up a grade, you would be tested in that grade. I just double checking on that. Is that correct?
That is correct with the current guidance with the state assessment. Something could change, and the example I gave was when we administered PARCC at the high school level, it was course-based. So if a student were accelerated a grade because they were in a higher level course, they would test with that course. However, with PARCC, as we know it now, it is by grade level. And so if you are a 7th grader, even if you're in 8th grade math, or a sixth grader, even if you're in seventh grade math, you are testing with your class. If you're a third grader who goes for accelerated reading, you're still a third grader when you test. And then the same thing with high school SAT. You are tested by academic standing. So if you're of junior status, you take the SAT with your peers, even if you may be in an advanced level math course.
Okay, and you also said in most cases that would be the case. They would just move up in that subject area.
There could be subject area acceleration, and then there's also instances where it is acceleration in all areas. For example, our elementary challenge. So in those particular instances, a fourth grader is accelerated in taking fifth grade curriculum in all of their curricular areas.
But they're still considered a fourth grader and test fourth grade.
That is correct.
But does this, what we're voting on here, would in any case a third grader become a fourth grader?
We have rare instances where students are actually promoted a grade level. There are academic and social emotional considerations, but it is a rare instance, but it could occur where a student is accelerated a full grade.
So in that rare instance, how are they tested?
They are tested as they appear in our student information system. So if we have a student who, say for example, has early entry into a grade, or who accelerates and basically moves up a whole entire grade level, they are in our student information system as that grade level where they are placed. So they test with that class.
Okay, that's the good clarification I was looking for. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry if that was unclear, but I'm happy to answer any other questions you have.
Any other questions? If not, roll call vote would be in order.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Title I school-wide plans.
Yes, tonight we have a rather lengthy document for your approval. This is our FY19 Title I school-wide plans. This is pursuant to the guidelines from the Illinois State Board of Education that our Title I buildings, which are all buildings in our district, must review and update their plans to reflect new priorities and updates under ESSA, which is the Every Student Succeeds Act. This is done prior to applying for the new grant year for fiscal year 19. So the document that we have shared this evening on Board Docs reflects the documentation in response to this compliance measure. We have all of our buildings included as a classification and are supported by Title I funding. Our buildings engage in a comprehensive needs assessment prior to completing their school-wide plan. And so this isn't done just for a compliance measure for grant funding purposes, but rather for a school improvement purpose. And that really connects to the work that we're doing with continuous improvement in all of our buildings. We're continuing to be engaged in the Smart School, Smart Learning Systems process, and we continue to use the comprehensive needs assessment to drive our efforts in that regard. I'm happy to answer any questions you have this evening.
Any questions? Seeing none, hearing none, roll call vote would be in order.
I don't think I got a motion.
Well, I need a motion.
So moved. Second.
Motion and seconded. Since there's no questions, roll call vote, please.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes.
Just so you know that there were several times I was on the phone with Mr. Harris today about this. So for the audience, if you think we don't ask questions, we ask many, many of them before the meeting, as many as we can.
They certainly do, and it was evident that you read every page of that PDF, Member Sikora, and we do appreciate your attention to detail. So we certainly know you are deeply engaged in the work, as you all are. We thank you for that.
At this time, a motion would be in order to leave the regular session and go to public hearing for the intent of selling $26 million worth of working cash fund bonds for increasing the working cash fund for the district. Motion would be in order.
So moved. Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Mr. Gazzapi, if you would please kindly explain what we're doing.
Yes, in order to undertake and complete our Priority A projects, as listed under the 6-year capital improvement plan, the school district will be issuing working cash bonds, which are a commonly used borrowing option for undertaking projects of this type. The primary scenario presented would involve an issuance not to exceed $26 million, which would be amortized over 20 years, which easily would outlast the scope of the work that's being financed. At this time, we already approved a resolution back in May, and as a requirement of the issuance, we are required to have this public hearing. And so at this time, we're asking for any further comments from the board or the public.
Are there any questions from board members? Any questions from the public on actions we are about to take this evening? Is there anyone, last chance to be heard? If not, we'll close the public comment portion, and I will move for a motion to approve. No? It's a motion to adjourn. Oh, I thought we had to approve, then go to the public hearing. No? Okay. So a motion to dismiss from this and go to the public.
You're just closing the public hearing.
Close the public hearing. Thank you.
Right.
We only do this very rarely. Motion to adjourn the special session and return to general session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Now, back to the agenda.
Just as a quick couple comments, next steps would be approving of a parameters resolution at our July board meeting with a closing date for the bonds targeted for August 14th.
Motion?
No action necessary.
No action?
No.
Okay, thank you. Moving down the agenda, what else you got, Gary?
Some renewals for insurance coverages, starting with our property casualty, student accident, fiduciary liability. It is up for renewal in July 1st. The renewal premiums for all of those lines of coverage beginning July 1st totaled $777,456, or an 11.5% increase over the expiring program. We have loss ratios over the last 3 to 5 years approaching or in excess of 100% on the lines of coverage for educators' legal liability, general liability, and auto. So we've had some bad years, high claims in those areas, thus the 11.5% increase. Mesero, on our behalf, went out to market. There's a marketing summary within the packet. A lot of companies had declined to provide any sort of quotations due to the loss limits that we've incurred. There's a premium summary in there as well as a marketing summary. At this time, though, we are approving Mesero to procure and provide property casualty, catastrophic student accident, and fiduciary liability for the period of July 1, 2018 through June 30, 2019 in the amount of $777,456.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes.
Next is the workers' compensation stop loss and third-party administration renewal. This is a one-year contract which expires on June 30th. We carry a $750,000 self-insured retention, or SIR, meaning any claims totaling $750,000, the first $750,000 are the responsibility of the school district. Anything above that, and it's not often it happens, but it does occur, we carry what's known as specific excess coverage. Last year we moved to a company called State National, and we are recommending that we remain with State National. The specifics of the renewal are outlined in the attached. They are providing a slight decrease in the coverage due to rates dropping across the state. We're also recommending that we remain with Gallagher Bassett as our TPA, or third-party administrator. They are proposing a one-year agreement with a 3% increase in claim rate handling over the expiring rates. And so at this time, we are recommending that we approve Gallagher Bassett as our third-party administrator with a 3% increase for 2018-19, as well as the purchase of the excess workers' compensation coverage with State National Casualty Corporation at a cost of $105,866, including the Arthur J. Gallagher service fee for the period of July 1, 2018 to June 30, 2019. Total premium, $192,640.
Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Somebody got it? Any questions? Gary, I just got a quick question. So, under the work comp in 17, 18, we were 67, then we jumped up to 86 in that chart on the, towards the bottom, right above the recommendation. Have we had that, an increase in work comp claims, or is it just changes in the law, the possibility of more exposure?
We did have an increase in the number of indemnity claims. That's
Okay.
what's causing our increase in the TPA fee.
Right.
Overall, though, our cost district-wide through the month of April, I think we were at $639,000 total incurred, which was better than last year. We were just higher over $1 million. So we've had some pretty good years the last three. Before that, we had two bad years, beginning in 2013, 14, and 14, 15.
It just, it didn't seem like we've had an increase. I just wonder what we've been pretty stable with those, correct?
We've been taking a look at our self-insured, or our excess insurance to see if it makes sense to increase our SIR, our threshold, and what kind of premium savings that would generate, and the savings just aren't there. So we're keeping it at the $750.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion, we have a second. If there's no further questions, a roll call vote would be in order.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes, and the moment we all waiting for, the pest control removal contract.
Recommending a one-year contract extension with Willkill Pest Control for district-wide pest control in the amount of $14,200.
I'm locked out again. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion about the pest control contract? Hearing none, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes.
We currently have 5 driver's ed vehicles in the district dating to 2008. All the vehicles have between 107 and 123,000 miles on them. We asked the driver's ed instructors to identify a vehicle that they felt would best suit their needs, and they identified a Hyundai Sonata SEL, coming with all the latest safety features like blind spot detection, rear cross traffic alert, and lane change assist. We sent bids to 3 local dealers, 2 of which were received, and at this time we are recommending the approval to the purchase of 5 2018 Hyundai Sonata SEL sedans from Darcy Honda and Joliet as the lowest responsible bidder at a total cost of $99,075.20.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes.
Final action this evening is a request for a multi-year contract with Mesero Insurance Services. They have requested a nominal increase. It's their first increase in 8 years that they've been servicing us. They would bring their annual service fee to $85,000, representing their total compensation for the district for each of the next 2 years. And so at this time, we are recommending approval of that renewal for the 2018-19 and 19-20 school years.
Motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, roll call vote would be in order.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Ms. Hawks, so before she goes and does her little spiel, we're going to do a spiel about her. Sharon is retiring from the district. I'm not going to say how many years she's been here, but it's been a lot. And she has served dutifully and done a wonderful job in a very difficult position. And from me to you, I wish you nothing but the best in your future endeavors. I hope you don't fail at retirement, as so many people often do. But thank you for the service that you have done to this district. And this will be her last report, so, give her a big old rah-rah when she gets done. think you should have to do your report from the podium. Go on, take your flowers.
That's okay. I can do it here, I think. Thank you, though. Thank you very much. I appreciate those kind words and the beautiful flowers. It was kind of unexpected, so you guys fooled me. But I do appreciate it. And I do just want to take a couple of minutes here to say that I am really privileged and honored that I've had the opportunity to work at Valley View School District. This is a very special place to work. The people are awesome. We have great leadership, and it's all about the kids. And what we're doing is what we're doing for the kids. And I am excited that I had to be just a little part of that. So, and I kind of leave with mixed emotions. Part of me is saying I'm not that old yet, I shouldn't be going, and the other part of me says, yes, I'm ready to walk out the door. So I wish you all the best, and thank you. On to my action report this evening, 13.1, Consolidated Action Report for Certified and Classified Personnel. We're seeking approval on 62 items for certified personnel, 33 for classified personnel, 1 for classified administrative personnel, and 2 for certified administrative personnel.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote would be in order.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes.
And before I move on to my next action report, the board has just approved the appointment of an administrative position. So we would like to ask Ms. Elizabeth Hine to please stand, and we'd like to welcome her. She's just been approved as the Core Content Administrator for Social Studies at Bolingbrook High School. She comes to us from Evergreen Park Community High School with 13 years of teaching and 3 years of leadership experience. Welcome, Elizabeth. We're glad to have you. My second action report this evening is 13.2, certified job descriptions. We're recommending that the board approve the job description of teaching and learning coach 612. It was brought for your review as an information report at the May 29th board meeting.
Motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion seconded. Any discussion?
I have one. I called on this afternoon also because it concerned me that the criteria was almost the same as the instructional specialist. But I was told that this is really only for Bolingbrook High School, correct? This position right now?
That is correct as of right now.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call vote, please.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
No.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes.
And final action report 13.3 this evening is resolution number 1814, authorizing dismissal of educational support personnel employee for reasons other than reduction in force.
Motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Superintendent Information Report, Parent and Family Teacher Conference application. Is that Rachel or is that Jim?
I've actually have that.
Or Gary?
The current parent-family teacher conference application that is currently using was customly created by a former district employee and has served the district successfully for the last 10 years, but has become increasingly difficult to maintain. Implementation of a new cloud-based solution is an option the technology department is proposed moving towards with the idea to avoid cost of custom programming and server replacement. The technology department conducted a product search back in 2016 with questions regarding whether the system was truly mobile-friendly, required parents and families to have an email address to log into a system, which would represent a change in our current processes. At that time, it was determined that there would be no change to the Parent-Family Teacher Conference schedule platform until a selection of a new Student Information System, or SIS, was completed. As you know, we've completed that search and made our selection. Since that time, several school districts and the applications they were using were surveyed, and those results are listed in your exhibit. The tech department would like to complete an in-depth testing and demonstration in the next couple of months, utilizing the original selection criteria and the additional identified needs to determine which product would be the most viable replacement for our current application. In July and August, they would seek board approval for that proposed selection, with the understanding that we would transition in October and target putting it in use by parents and families to schedule fall conferences, which are tentatively scheduled for November 6th, 2018.
Any questions of Mr. Grisafi? Next on the list, AMP Head, Architecture, Marketing, Production, Technical Engineering, and Design.
I did have a question, Steve, if you don't mind. When I was reading that, there's two different ones. Does that mean we're going to compare the two before we decide?
Yes.
And how, we're going to pilot them?
I think they're going to put them through their paces. They're very similar products from all indications. They had their eye on one, and then it seems like another one has surfaced, and visually they're identical, or not identical, but they look really similar. And so I think they're just going to ascertain which one is the better fit with the new SIS that was selected.
And then it'll come back to us?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
So back to AMPed.
Yes, back to AMPed. This is Information Report 14.2, and we are presenting information prior to seeking approval for the adoption of a new course at the high school level, AMPed, which stands for Architecture, Marketing, Production Tech, Engineering, and Design. This would be implemented in the 1920 school year. This is a multidisciplinary approach to provide students a unique perspective in developing an understanding of marketing and engineering design process. The information report contains details regarding the course description and course objectives, but rather than read them to you, I'm going to invite one of our educators, Rick Rujewicz, from our CTE department. He is a department chair at Romeoville High School, to just share with you some comments on the rationale and the overview for this course description, and I'll turn it over to Rick.
Okay, good evening, community. Dr. Mitchum, Senior Leadership, President Quigley, and Board of Education. My name is Rick Rujewicz. I'm the current Tech Ed Department Chair at Romeoville High School. I've been the Department Chair for 14 years. We want to propose the AMP class. The situation that we have at Romeoville High School is we want to provide the opportunity for our students. Currently, we are getting, as far as our enrollment for our classes, with the architectural design, mechanical drafting, engineering design, we're getting 4, 5 kids in each of those classes. So what we want to do is we want to still provide the opportunity for those students, but also merge them all into one and then provide a best practices from each of those classes. If you look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there are thousands of jobs in the next 10 years related to STEM careers, which is science, tech, engineering, and math, of which a lot of those jobs, they do reside in our own community as well. So we're proposing that we create this AMP class and provide the best practices for all of it and provide the opportunity. The curriculum that is designed with it falls all under the district initiatives and college and career readiness. Questions?
Anybody have any questions? So, just from my perspective, people who don't, maybe do, maybe don't understand, I have a son who took an architecture class his senior year at BHS, and he enjoyed it so much that he has decided to pursue a career in architecture in college. So what you guys do at these levels, at an intense level, and the instructor there actually called my wife and said, your son has a proficiency in this for somebody who's never taken a class like that I've never seen. So what you guys do greatly impacts students, and I hope this program will have the same effect for many, many students. So thank you.
Thank you. Also, some technology devices that we're putting into the program are adding to it, are updating. 3D printers, CNC routers, also laser engravers, just to name a few. We also have the CAD program with the computers, and there's also architecture involved as well with the greenhouse that we can put into it as far as soil testing and engineering, possibly solar panels. It's a huge area that we can expand on and provide for our students.
Anybody have any comments? I think it's fantastic. The education is not, this ain't the school that we went to. Everybody's sitting up here, this is a different world. And the 3D printing, all these things that was pie in the sky Star Wars, Star Trek stuff when we were growing up is now reality. And there's kids learning this stuff every day, not just in our district, but around the world. And we have to do these things to compete and to get our kids where they need to be. And I could not agree more with where the direction you guys are going with these kind of programs. And so thank you for bringing this forward and being willing to step up and promote these types of programs.
And if I might say too, I want to thank Tammy Kahn. The programs that we are providing are also through grant money and through dollars that it's coming from outside as far as we provide and lining our courses up with federal Perkins money.
Even better.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions, comments? All good.
I just want to say, Steve, you said your son went into architecture because of what he learned in the district. I just want to say I just had a similar conversation with my brother who went to Drew in middle school, had drafting and at Westview when it used to be Westview, and decided to become an architect because of his middle school drafting class. So, say it works. It's good.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. So it's apparent, as you see new course offerings brought, that our educators continue to be very responsive to bringing rigorous and relevant course offerings for our students in all of our content areas. And they're always working very hard to be responsive to what we know are best practices, what trends we're seeing nationally and statewide. So I thank them all for their work on this. So we'll move on to the next information report. This is another example of our educators continuing to be responsive to needs, be it societal or social, emotional, or just needs that our students have in general to find success, and not just academically, but to find success in life after high school. So what we're bringing to you tonight is information on adding a new unit, a course modification to add to 2 of our PE elective courses, and this is a unit on self-defense. And so I have with us this evening 2 educators, but I'll name them off, Michelle Wysick and Christina Douglas, and they're going to share some comments about this unit and why they feel that it's an important incorporation to help prepare students to be fully prepared for the real world and life after high school.
Thank you, Rachel. Good evening, community members and board members. I thank you for this opportunity to present this. It's something that I'm very passionate about. Basically, this course that we would introduce into our elective 2 and 5 is an empowering unit that will cover the social, emotional, and physical aspects of everything that our students need for the next phase of their life. I'm truly confident that after these students engage in this course, that they will understand that they have a voice and their voice is worthy, and that they'll be able to continue on and enjoy positive experiences.
The information report contains the details regarding the learning objectives and the proficiencies that would be covered in terms of helping students prepare to reduce bullying, sexual harassment, dating violence, sexual violence, and like Christina said, prepare students for post-secondary life. Is there any questions? It is very relevant, and there are abilities for students and opportunities for students and adults to take courses of this nature. Very real life skills. Mm-hmm.
Any other questions or comments?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
As well, I'd like to thank my department chair, Mike Odell, for giving me the opportunity to present this, as well as Tammy Kahn for the support and resources to get this certification. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your time and effort on this proposal.
Moving down the agenda, which mine just popped back up on the screen, but I'm in the paper thing now. Course modifications. Oh, we did that, I'm sorry. Legal Services Report.
No report.
Thank you. AFT Report. Currently no report. Valley View Council Report. Same. Valley View Office Personnel Report. Any old business before the board this evening? Any new business before the board this evening? Any questions from the public on actions we have taken this evening? Hearing none, seeing none. Any announcements by the board? From my right. From my left.
I would like to thank all the administrators, teachers, everybody else who came out to support Valley View Educational Enrichment Foundation golf outing. Last Thursday was a beautiful day. If you weren't there, we hope to see you next year. It was a lot of fun, and we had a great time and a large turnout.
I have one. I'm on the H2O Heart Haven Outreach Board, and they are having their annual Christmas in July golf outing. H2O is a program serving our school district with mentoring, tutoring, support groups, recreational and character education programs, all at no cost to our students. H2O is having their 15th anniversary of their golf outing and Christmas in July gala dinner on July 12th at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Early bird prices are $135 for golf and dinner, or $45 for dinner only, and those early bird prices are good through tomorrow. So go home and get online tonight to buy them if you want to go. If you miss the early bird deadline, tickets will still be available through July 6th. This is H2O's biggest fundraiser of the year, and it's made possible by the support of the community and businesses and so forth. So we want to help, struggling teens and get through their day. So please support this program if you can. Thank you.
And H2O is also one of our partners.
Yes.
So, in doing exactly what Diane said, helping struggling youth. I just had one thing I wanted to make comment. I want to thank the high schools, both Bolingbrook and Romeoville, for running wonderful graduation programs. It's always a pleasure to shake the hands of 1,386, whatever it is, 1,400 kids every year, and see their faces as they go out to face the world, full of excitement and anticipation of what may be out there for them. But it also gives me some satisfaction, and I know I speak for the rest, and many, many people in those buildings, that you've done a pretty good job of getting them prepared for those positions. And if not, we hope that they are, and if not, then we have to work on some of the things we're not doing to get them prepared. But I believe in my heart that most of those kids are prepared to go pursue what it is they might want to try and pursue. And as they say, the world is their oyster, and hopefully they will find the pearl that lies within. So thank you to all of our buildings, BHS and RHS. Any other announcements? Announcements by the administration. Dr. Mitchum.
Yes, I can't let Sharon get away without saying at least something. I've been at this business for 38 years, and I can count probably on one hand those educators that I perceive to have integrity beyond any bounds. I met Sharon some time ago as an administrator. I'll tell a funny story that she probably doesn't like me to tell, but she called me about something, and we got into a debate, and she said, if you would stop talking and listen, I might be able to get my point across. And ever since then, I've been afraid of Sharon, even as a superintendent. Sharon is loyal to a fault, and when I say loyal, she's not loyal to the person, but she's loyal to the job, and she's loyal to the position. Sharon is unwavering in her support of the goals of this district. Sharon will tell you like it is at all times. If she feels you're wrong, she will tell you. If she feels you're right, she will tell you. And you can't ask to work with a better administrator than that. One that's not a group thinker, one who has a mind of her own, one who has supreme integrity. So, Judy, she is going to be significantly difficult to replace, but I will assume the best of you as well. And I want to thank Sharon for all of her years of service here. She truly will be missed by me as a professional and also as a friend. So thank you, Sharon.
I have one additional announcement. I just want to thank the educators and publicly acknowledge our educators and administrators. I know summer is a time of rest and relaxation to kind of decompress and get away from school, but we've been out of school for 1 full week, and I have seen hundreds of educators and leaders still hard at work in planning, reflecting, wrapping up the year, engaging in professional learning, and really digging in. They really haven't skipped a beat. So for those who think that teachers get the whole summer off and just, hang it up and go home. That's not necessarily the case. We are still hard at work, and I thank you all for your commitment. I've seen literally hundreds of educators working with our teams and in our committees. So thank you all for your continued commitment, and I hope you get some rest and relaxation too.
Any other comments? Any comments from the public? Hearing none, seeing none, a motion to adjourn would be in order. Motion and second. All those in favor say aye. Motion to adjourn back. Oh, I'm sorry, hang on. Motion to adjourn back into executive session.
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Ayes have it. There'll be no further action this evening. Thank you. Have a great summer and enjoy your evening.